Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think we were in the Stephen King Renaissance where we're gonna get good adaptations of his work? Yeah, no. For all the good Renaissance era, we are in the hellscape that is the bad adaptation moment. Hello Flickering Myth family and welcome to our channel. My name is EJ Marino and in this video we're going to be reviewing the new Firestarter, but we're also going to be talking about Stephen King adaptations. We had a good reign for a while where there was some decent adaptations, but we all knew this was coming. We were in the 90s. We know when there's some good adaptations, there's going to be some really bad ones, and sadly I think Firestarter fits into the bad category. Alright, enough of this intro, let's get into the video right now. Firestarter 2022 comes from director Keith Thomas. Now, I like this director. He did a horror film called The Vigil about a Jewish man who has to stay with a body overnight. It's like a tradition. I thought that was really good. It kind of let me into that world. It let me just feel the terror that many feel in that situation. I liked it. So when he got picked up for Firestarter 2022, I was curious, and then I saw the trailers for it. Then the marketing started happening, and then this movie was just like, hey, you can't review it until the night that it comes out. And I'm like, nunny? Like, what? What's going on there? And then I saw the movie, and I can see why the studio was trying to hide it and or throw it on Peacock. I wanted to like this idea. I love Zac Efron. Kiera Armstrong is an actress who I did not like her character on American Horror Story, but wow, is she a strong actress. Which she does get to let that loose here. Same thing with Zac Efron. He does the best with very weak material. I don't know if this is maybe just a case of Stephen King's Firestarter isn't as strong of a story as we once thought it was, or maybe they're trying to do too much with this movie. I think it might be the latter because this movie feels very confused. It is trying to do absolutely way too much at one time. It wants to be a Stephen King adaptation. That's one thing, which could mean it could be a horror film or an action movie or a family drama. It tries to do all three of those things at one time, and then by the end, it really wants to be the Fox movie, The New Mutants, you know, that really bad X-Men spinoff. Yeah, it doesn't know where it wants to go, but it never goes in a good spot. Every arc of this movie, every time I'd be like, all right, we are in the family drama section. All right, we are in the superhero third act section. I was just like, what the hell is going on? By the time that like our main character is like Doctor Dooming people around and busting them in fire at the end, I'm just like, why do I care? What's going on here? What are we doing? I cannot figure out what to think of this movie. The whole time I'm just like, why are we doing this movie specifically? There is so much adaptations we could do for King's work. We could do another Carrie. No, let's not do that. We could do Rose Red. I don't know. Bring back the Langoliers at this point. I just don't know if Firestarter was exactly what they wanted to do, but I can see why. This has potential to be a superhero adjacent thing. Think of Brightburn, or think of other weird kind of one-off horror movies that feel superhero movie. Darkman, you know, those weird, like, let's try to mix these two worlds together. That's what they wanted to do. There is this evil organization that's hunting down these people that have very special powers. So Zac Efron and his daughter are trying to run away from these people. They have a bounty hunter who is a Native American man, and yeah, there is a lot of pieces here that could work together. Then by the end, I was just like, I don't know, at least this wasn't problematic. Like, that was the only thing I walked away with. It was like, oh, I didn't hate the Native American character in this film, which is better than most horror movies offer us up with that representation. Points, I guess? For most of this movie, we see Andy and Charlie, played by Zac Efron and Miss Armstrong, try to figure out how to escape the shop. I was not feeling this movie, and then the last 20 minutes hit, and I was into, at least trying to get into what they were presenting. There is some moments where our character Charlie kind of snaps and says, I'm gonna do what I need to do, and I was hoping it would be as shocking and oh my god as the end of Carrie, when we see our character just go, it's time. It's my time to play. I like that in Doctor Sleep a lot, where the character was like, you know what? I'm done playing the games of what these evil forces are trying to do. Let me just get into this myself. And I was into that. I was less into it when I started seeing how cheap this movie looked. I noticed it throughout the movie, like some of the effects were not my favorite, but by the end of this movie, I was just like, what are these effects? It literally looked like somebody had a blowtorch off camera just shooting it. And I know that's probably exactly what they had to do to get a practical fire effect. Sometimes the fire did not look as real as it should have. Yeah, I understood what they needed to do, but that's an overall problem I have with this. If this was a straight to streaming, not trying to be a movie with Zac Efron, like if this was a lower budget movie on Netflix, like In the Tall Grass or something like that, I could have been a bit more forgiving, but there's like an extra like oomph when it's a studio project, when it's a studio adapting Stephen King to put it on a streaming service with a decent star like Zac Efron, you expect a little bit more. That's what I think adaptations for Stephen King, you should gauge where you're feeling. If it's a made-for-TV movie, you judge it as a made-for-TV movie. If it's a studio film trying to release something because Stephen King still has a hot name, yeah, I'm gonna judge it as it is, and that's what this sadly is, so I can't really forgive some of the weaker script moments and some of the piss-poor effects because I expect a bit more. And that's what's so hard about Stephen King adaptations is we had such a good time, and now I think we're in the bad place. You know, after the first It movie, we swore we were in the high point of Stephen King adaptations. I thought it myself. We were having things like Gerald's Game and In the Tall Grass. Oh my god, I really loved Doctor Sleep as well. Then I started looking around and going, those are some good examples, but we have a lot more. That new Pet Sematary, that Carrie reboot in like 2013, The Dark Tower. What the hell was The Dark Tower? And now things like Firestarter. I just don't understand why we can't bring his work up to a certain level, or honestly go back to the 90s and make these miniseries. If we had this same Firestarter movie and we just broke it up like we did things like Rose Red or even the Shining TV series, there's so many examples. I could be into that, but honestly this made me think of things like the Langoliers or that Carrie made for TV movie who starred the girl from the movie May. Love that actress, don't love her movie, Angela Bettis I think, yeah. I love the ideas of what we could do, especially with lower budget Stephen King stuff, but it's just not there yet. I just don't know if no one understands the work of King, or if he just needs to start working with these people directly like he did with things like Gerald's Game and It, because it is not working. You know, as I said, I want to do more TV series adaptations. I'm remembering like Under the Dome, that weird one with James Franco, that new Stan that came out on Paramount. I just don't know if King's work really works in all facets of life. Maybe we should just get lucky when we have an It. Maybe we should just wait for real, true, like, horror-loving artists to get into this. And I'm not saying, like, the director of this film is not a lover of horror, but a lover of King and being able to translate his work is a bit different than just, oh, I love making horror movies. King is just a weird author to adapt. You have to understand where he's coming from. I don't know if we need to maybe move away from the horror section and go back to things like The Green Mile and Stand By Me, because that could be the route. I don't know if I want to see a Christine or, oh my god, Salem's Lot, which I know is coming. These are the ones that I get nervous about, because I'm like, we've done this before, these are remakes now. I don't know if we are able to really capture what we should with King's work, and I am a fan, but I'm not like thinking he's like the Lord and Savior to writing. I just know where we could be with his adaptations, and I just think like things like Firestarter 2022 is not where we need to go. I just don't think we're ever going to hit what we did with It Chapter 1 ever again. It Chapter 2 couldn't even hit that level. I just don't know if Stephen King's work, maybe we should give it a break and have a new renaissance in about 5 to 10 years. Firestarter is a hot mess, see that pun there, but it also seems like new Stephen King adaptations are going to be even messier. What do? We'll just keep watching them and keep reviewing them and hoping for some good ones that work. Again, there is good examples. I love Dr. Sleep. I love the first It movie. I actually even like It Chapter 2 a bit. I just don't think that... I think we've overdone ourselves a bit. Maybe we should take a break and come back to this in a couple years. What do you guys think? Did you like the new Firestarter? Are you liking the new era of Stephen King adaptations? Share your feelings down in the comments below. Make sure you guys give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Flickering Myth because we make videos like this every single week. Alright everyone, let's talk about Firestarter and Stephen King down below.